Hi, my name is Cynthia. I'm here today to give you my top 10 tips. My top 10 tips today is going to be on divorce before you file for divorce. First of all, you need to try hard to save the marriage. I am sorry to have to be telling you this, but you don't want to look back and think that you should have tried harder and you could have saved the marriage. I've had many clients tell me that later, that they wish they'd tried harder. By the way, I'm a retired lawyer. I worked in the divorce area more than 25 years. I'm not giving you legal advice. It's my personal opinion. Go see a priest, minister, rabbi. Talk to them before you file for divorce. Sometimes your spouse will not cooperate doing that, but go way by yourself. I suggest really to go see a psychologist, because that person will evaluate personalities and tell you whether you work together or not, and if you don't work together, what you have to do to try to save the marriage. If the other party won't cooperate, that's their problem, and down the road you'll know that you tried the best you could to save the marriage. But that's my suggestion. Do the best you can to save the marriage. Next thing, before you see your lawyer, get as much documents together as you can, because that lawyer is going to want to have them. And by documents, I mean copy of your lease if you have an apartment, copy of your mortgage deed to your house, copy of your 401k, savings account, things like that. You're going to need to have all those. Your lawyer, I'm sure, is going to want to see those things. And if you have them with you at the time you go see the lawyer initially, they'll appreciate that very much. Next, your financial information. Get a copy of your 401k. Get a copy of your spouse's 401k. They're not going to be real happy for you to get that stuff beforehand, but do it now before you file. It'll be easier to get. Get a copy of your checking account, savings account, both of yours. Get a copy of your whatever documents you have that are financial. If you have a copy of their pay stub, that'd be wonderful. Get a copy of your pay stub too if you're working. Bring those all with you when you go see the lawyer. They're going to want to have that information, and they'll appreciate it that you have them before when you bring them in to see the lawyer. Another item is if there's domestic violence in your marriage. Strongly suggest that you take any guns that might be in the house. Get rid of those. Any other knives, like hunting knives and things like that. Put them in the trunk of your car if he does not have access to your keys. Bring them to a friend's house. Bring them to a friend to put in their trunk. They don't need to know where they are. Don't tell them. Down the road, you're going to have to give them back. But when you file and they get served, initially they're going to be very upset. You don't want them to do anything stupid by having those guns around. And maybe the judge will not allow them to have guns anyway, but get them out of the house. Domestic violence also, you might want to think about moving out totally. Get away from that person. I suggest going to a halfway house if you can, but if you don't, I would get out of the house, period. If you can, move in with your parents, which you might not want to have to do. Move in with a friend. I don't know where you want to go, but get out of that house if there's domestic violence. And I'm talking about sexual, verbal, or physical, because verbal can be just as bad as physical. Get out of that situation if you can. Next, separate the information you have from your spouse. Get your information out. Put it, I don't know where you want to put it in the trunk of your car if that's a good place. If you work in an office, put it in the drawers of your desk. Get them away from where he or she can get. You don't want them to have access to that information. Another tip, financial information, 401k. If your spouse has a 401k and you have a 401k, contact those people and let them know that there's going to be a divorce filing. I have had clients in the past where their spouse gets into the 401k and empties everything out. If you call that their work and let them know that you're going to be filing for divorce, they'll put a note on that so that if in fact that spouse comes in and tries to do that, they'll put it on hold. They might not do anything until actually you file and have a case number, but let them know that it's coming, so that you don't want to have that happen, because once that money's gone, you can't get it back. Even if the judge orders them to repay it, good luck trying to get that back. Next thing, start budgeting for living alone. I do this before you file, because you're going to need to know how you're going to live alone and how you're going to make your house payment. You might even have to move out to another apartment where you can afford that house payment. I don't know what your finances are. Maybe you make more money than your spouse. That'd be great. You don't have to worry about budgeting for one. But start thinking about it now before you file, because after you file, it's not the time to start thinking about money. Now, every state's different. I don't know. Maybe you'll get spousal support. That's up to your lawyer to tell you. Spousal support would help, but don't depend on getting it. Another thing is trying to get it from your spouse. He might not pay, or she might not pay either. So start budgeting alone, because it'll be a lot easier to make that house payment even with extra money coming in. Make a budget that you can live on by yourself. Next thing, if custody is going to be an issue, start making writing down what the other spouse does as far as parenting time. I suggest strongly getting a large calendar, the kind you buy with dogs on it, cats on it, the big ones that got big squares in the middle of them. Start keeping track in those squares what they do with the kids, how much time they actually do with the kids. Another piece of paper, start writing down who actually makes their food, who does the cooking, who does the cleaning, who does the laundry. Start doing that before you file, because down the road, it's hard to remember 6 months back what that other party did. Start doing it now before you file. And if you can go back in your memory, back even a couple months, that'd be great. Write in that calendar as much information as you can. Now, another thing to do is to keep track of, start doing parenting time. If you're not one that's involved with the kids, start hanging out with the kids, taking them out, spending more time now before you file, because after you file, the judge will see that you've done that and knows that you didn't really spend time before. Start doing it now before you file, so that you don't have to account to a judge why all of a sudden you're interested in the kids. Start spending more time. Maybe even start doing laundry that you didn't do before. Start cooking for the kids. Start paying attention to school. Who picks them up from school? Start doing that information if you can. Now, another thing is, take your phone and start taking pictures of all the assets you have in the house or apartment. Sofas. Take pictures of what's on the walls. Paintings that you have. Take pictures of vases you have. Take pictures of everything you can, because after you file, things might start disappearing and you don't have any way to prove that you own that stuff beforehand. Start doing it now. And don't worry about being overly taking too many pictures. Take as many as you can. Go in the basement. Take pictures of boxes that you have down there. Take pictures of everything that you have, so that you can prove down the road that you did in fact own those before. And maybe if you have the documents, purchase price of things, keep those too and put those aside so they can't be mysteriously disappear because somebody has taken the item and also taken a proof that you bought it. Maybe that's in your credit card payments, your billings, so that you know that you have all that stuff. So put that stuff aside. Another thing is, start separating your credit card payments. If you can, get a separate credit card if you can in your own name. You don't want your party being able to charge on that. And maybe that's where you're going to get your retainer money to pay for a new lawyer. But that's another issue. You're going to have to come up with money. Now, the attorney can charge you anywhere from a small amount, $1,500, to up to $20,000 based on where you get your lawyer. So you're going to have to start figuring out how you're going to get money. Now, I would start not allowing the other side to charge on your credit card anymore too before you file, because that other party might charge a rate up to get retainer fees too for themselves. So if your name is on a credit card jointly, do what you can to get your name off that credit card. You might not be able to do that, but if you can get your name off the credit card so that any more purchases on that credit card will not be your problem down the road. But again, you might be stuck. But let the credit card people know that from that date on, you're not responsible for any charges. They might not care. They might still make you be responsible, but let them know from then on that you're not responsible for any more charges, so that you don't get stuck. And believe me, that other party could charge up big time on your credit cards. Now, how do you pick a lawyer? I have a new video that will tell you how to give you some suggestions. But best of word of mouth is the best way. If you know friends that know a good lawyer that they used, or know a friend who had a good lawyer, go and talk to them and see what you think. But watch my other video. I will give you a lot more ideas on how to pick a lawyer. Also, beware that after you file, if you're on insurance, on your husband or wife's insurance through work, you might not be on that for very long. Hopefully a judge will let you stay on that during the pendency of the divorce, but you might only have 30 days after judgment's entered to get insurance. Start looking around now and see what you can do for getting your own insurance. Now, I hope that these are good tips that you can use down the road. If you want any more information, I'm going to have other videos on different topics. Come back and visit me. I'm a retired lawyer. I don't have my license anymore. I'm not giving you legal advice. This is my personal opinion on different things that I've encountered over 25 years of working in this field. And hopefully that you learned something. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Come back and visit me again. Bye now. Hi, my name is Cynthia. I'm here to give you my top 10 tips. Today's topic is going to be if you have to testify in court, what you should do, how you should dress, that kind of thing. First of all, how do you dress? Dress appropriately. Don't dress in the summertime. Don't come in a halter top. Come in a nice outfit. Now, I would not suggest you go out and buy a very expensive outfit to wear to court. Wear something, maybe you can wear jeans if you have, nice slacks, nice top. What you would wear to a church. I've had clients come in and wear some outlandish things that they wear to church, but tone down. Wear something that you're going to be comfortable in court to, not something that you're going to be itching about. Wear something that's comfortable. Another topic, look at your lawyer. Listen to what your lawyer has to say. I'm sure your lawyer is going to tell you to tell the truth. Do not fudge on anything you say, because it'll come back and hit you in the face. Tell the truth. If there's something you have to answer that you don't like, look at your lawyer and let that lawyer maybe make an objection to that question. If your lawyer does not do anything, go ahead and answer. That thing can be taken out of the transcript, or after you say that, maybe the lawyer can object and the judge can strike it from the record also. But don't lie. Tell the truth the best way you can. Another thing, when you're talking, look at your judge, left or right, wherever the judge is. Answer the questions looking at the judge. That's who you need to impress, not the people in the audience, not your lawyer. You need to impress the judge. So look at the judge when you're answering the questions. The judge might not be looking at you when you're looking at him. He might be looking down writing notes. But if you can, catch the judge's eyes and answer the questions by looking at the judge. Don't be afraid. Your answers are important to the judge to hear. Smile if you can. That doesn't mean laugh. Smile and be pleasant to the judge if you can. Do not answer in bad words, F word and things like that on the stand. Be careful what you say as far as don't say damn it and things like that. Be appropriate in your language while you're on the stand. Practice a little bit the night before you get on the stand. How you're going to act, what you're going to say. Practice a little bit, because you kind of know, if you've been in court before and motions and listening to the court, you know what you're going to be saying. So beware. And another thing, when you're on the stand, don't be nasty about your spouse if you can afford. Be nice. Don't say that effing word for your spouse or whatever they did. Be as pleasant as you can when you're talking about them. But that doesn't mean say really nice things if you can. Be honest about what that spouse has done in the past. Another thing, there's documents you need to remind yourself, times or amounts. Bring them with you to the stand. Now, the other side might object to those documents you have. Let them object and let the judge and your lawyer make statements about what you have. If you need those things, like a certain figure, like how much you have in your checking account, bring that checking account up, the billing statement with you, and look at it, and let the other side object to what you're looking at. But bring those up with you, because if you don't have them, it's kind of hard to remember those things, and it's kind of hard to go home and bring them back to the court if you need them. So be sure and bring them with you. Now, another thing is, if you've parked in a parking spot that where you have to put money into a meter, put a lot of money in there. You don't want to have to be worrying about whether you're going to get a ticket while you're on the stand, because I've had clients worry about that, and when you're waiting to be called up to court, they're running out to put money in their parking meter. Best thing is to park in a regular parking lot if you can. Don't worry about paying too much for parking, because it's better not to have to worry about getting a ticket. Park in a regular parking spot, or again, if you find a metering spot, put plenty of money in there, because you might be sitting in court for an hour, 2 hours, and you don't want to have to worry about sitting there whether you're going to get a ticket or not. Another thing is, wait before you answer a question again. If it's going to be an answer that could be objected to, and your lawyer maybe has told you this beforehand, wait. If there's an objection, do not answer that. Wait for your lawyer's objection and what that lawyer says, and let the judge tell you whether it's okay to go ahead and answer. Do not go on and answer that without the judge's okay. Another thing, when you're testifying, try to be as short as you can. Don't go on and on and on in a long narrative. And hopefully your lawyer has prepared you before you got on the stand to talk to you about how to answer the questions. Be right to the point and only answer the question that's answered. A lot of times I've had clients get on the stand and go on different topics. I've had to try to interject to try to stop them. You don't want to give more information than you need to. And let the other side ask you that question. And if you think you forgot something, a lot of times the lawyer at the end will say, is there something you forgot to say? We'll give you that opportunity to say something. Let your lawyer take care of what's going on. Again, I'm not giving you legal advice. This is my personal opinion on 25 years of working with people and being in court. And hopefully you've got some good information out of this. If you have, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to have plenty of other topics coming up.